Hi, everyone. It's Melanie Warner here with Defining Moments Press. We are welcoming one of our authors in our new book, The Unexpected Leader. This is 11 Tools for Transformational Leadership. This is a leadership book. It's designed for managers, leaders, whether it's, you're leading your family, whether you're leading yourself, maybe a sports team or a group at work. We want to make sure you have these tools. They're incredible tools. And the stories are exciting to read and also very inspirational. So I'd like to introduce our next author, Jenny Ferguson. Jenny, thank you so much. Welcome. Thanks for being here.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for having me, Melanie.
Absolutely. So this book has been a labor of love. We've been working on this for quite some time now, and I love the cover. It's so cute. I know this is one of
I
the
love it. And I am obsessed with sharks. So it's so perfect for me. Yeah.
So we have in this book, we have multiple experts, people that have had clear definitions of leadership in their life. So Jenny, share with us a little bit about your story, like a defining moment in your life and how that led to a transformational leadership experience for you.
I mean, obviously, there's been a lot of defining moments in my life, like amongst my journey, but probably for where I'm at right now, the most defining moment, and this is a broad umbrella, was when my dad's health started to decline. But specific defining moment, I would say, was when I dropped him off at the assisted living. There was like within that journey itself, the defining moment, health decline, assisted living, and his passing was all so close together that it seems like one event. But the one specific thing was dropping him off at the assisted living. That was a defining moment. Is why I am out, why I'm here right now. That would be the one.
So tell us what that was like. So I know you were a former figure skater,
Mhm.
right? A professional figure skater. And then here you are, your mom has passed away, your dad becomes sick, and you're an only child, right? So many of us that have had to deal with, how do we take care of aging parents, right? It's a scary thought because we want to take care of our parents the way they took care of us when we were babies. But the truth is, it's really hard to take care of an adult who doesn't always do what you tell them to do. And it's not always a safe environment for them to stay at home. So talk to us a little bit about that transition for you. What was that like?
For anybody that's gone through it, they probably know it's overwhelming, would be like the number one thing I hear. That's how I felt. And that's, all the people I work with now, that's kind of the theme. But you just don't know until you've been through it. You have no idea what to do, where to look, where to turn. You don't even know your resources that are out there. So I think it's a very lonely feeling. You're scared. It's a lot. And most of us also have jobs, and really taking care of an aging parent that, their health is declining and you need to do something, they need more help than what they're getting right now, is almost like another full-time job. And you lose sleep. It's just this all-consuming time in your life. So that's how I felt. Going through that process was super eye-opening, and coming out of it on, where I came out of it was just with this passion and desire to help people that were going through it as well, because I, went down the rabbit hole. And obviously now I've devoted the last, 6 or 7 years of my life just to learning programs, what's best. I mean, everything that goes into elder care. I've owned an assisted living home. I turned my family home, my dad's home, my childhood home. I turned that into an assisted living home. And that was really fulfilling. That's actually where I think the most surprising and unexpected love for this industry came, was owning the assisted living home. And that's where I made my decision to dedicate my life to it, was taking care of these elderly people and then working with their families in the care home. Just seeing and remembering that feeling of you don't have anywhere else to turn, and it is our responsibility. I felt, it was my responsibility to take care of them and to make sure they were in the right place, getting the right care with love, compassion, humor, if that's kind of their personality. But whatever matched their personality, that's what they were getting. They deserve nothing less. And so creating a place where I would have wanted my dad was really special. And I didn't expect to change my life to make that my life, but I did, and I've never looked back. And I'm, just so happy that I found this and listened to my gut and am doing this now.
Well, I am happy for you and your dad. I think it's amazing that you were able to do that. I know that, as we look into this next segment of life where we're going into the largest segment in history of like baby boomers who are starting to age out and become seniors and retire and need assisted living, and people are living longer than they expected, right? A lot of times people can't afford to do this. What can you do to help people understand how they can afford to do this and find creative ways to help fund this, where people don't always know if they qualify for certain things, but what tips could you give people who are trying to figure out how to pay for assisted living at that age?
It's such a touchy subject, and it's such an important subject. When I opened my care home, obviously I got a ton of phone calls, people that were desperate, their mom or dad, grandma, grandpa needed 24/7 care. And I would quote the price, and I was by far the cheapest that, you could find, but they couldn't afford it. And I had nothing, I really couldn't help them. This was what it was. So after I sold the care home, a few years later, I sold the care home and I was working in hospice. And then I started to see the need of like Medi-Cal, people that were on Medi-Cal. This would be, not even necessarily the um, lower income people, but elderly that, worked their whole life, that were middle class, even sometimes upper class, but now they're 80, 90 years old, and all they have is a social security income, and that's what they live off of. Um, and maybe they have assets. They could have a house, they could have a car, they could have a house at the beach, but not the cash flow to pay for assisted living. So I really invested my time into learning all about a program. It's called the Assisted Living Waiver here in California, which is where I live. And that so many people, I mean, there's not that many people that know about it, and so many people really need this. And it is the answer to the people that fall in that crack where they they just don't have quite the amount of money to offer assisted living, but they need 24-hour care, and they don't have to be at like a skilled nursing facility. They're not on tubes, they can still enjoy life, whether that's from their bed, maybe they could even be bedbound, but they can still enjoy life. They don't need to be at a skilled nursing facility. The state will pay and contribute to assisted living quite a bit. I mean, where you're only paying like $1,400 a month instead of $5,000 a month. So so many people, and so many people qualify for this that nobody has ever mentioned it to them because nobody knows about it. So getting that word out has been really important to me, and that's a huge part of my business. Actually, I work with a lot of skilled nursing facilities in this area, and educating the families that they have a loved one in the skilled nursing facility to help transfer them out if they can't go home, and if they can't afford the private pay assisted living, getting on this program.
I think that's incredible because I've talked to people personally. I mean, and you have also helped me. You've been a huge help to a personal family member of mine. I've also referred a lot of people to you the last few months, and I've seen what you've been able to do. And people all the time say, "Oh, we've already talked to somebody. We don't qualify. We have too many assets, or we have this," and they just kind of give up. And then the worst thing is when people say, "Well, can't I just have my mom live alone for the next year, or can't I just have my dad or my grandma just be there?" I mean, for what? Like waiting till they get worse? Because these
I
are,
fall to the hospital.
yeah, these are irreversible things. Like a lot of illnesses, especially dementia or things that happen, in the elder care community, like they're getting progressively worse. They don't just get better on their own. So it's kind of like, how do you handle the people that are in denial about this to help educate them about the urgency of being able to keep their loved ones safe?
It's a very fine line, overstepping your boundaries. But I've worked with so many people, so I have so many stories, and I usually have a story that is similar to what they're going through, and I can share my experience and just try to lovingly guide them in the right direction, that do it now. I mean, so many people, you're right, so many people will call me and say, well, mom has dementia and she's not doing well, so we're thinking probably in about 6 months. because she's not ready to move yet. And I just, you know, it's a tough position to be in. I was there. I was that daughter. My dad's health was declining, and I was like, oh, but he wants to stay home. And as his baby girl, I wanted him to stay home. I wanted to put my head in the sand and have everything fine. But the reality is it wasn't that. And the longer we wait, the more detrimental it is. And then the harder it is to go through it. So at least be prepared and know your options before it's a fire drill, you know, like it's just take the time to talk to somebody, talk to me, and I'll lay it out there. And these are your options. This is what we need to do to get on this program, to get approved for the program, to get approved for Medi-Cal. Those things take time. Do it now. And then that way it's in place when you're ready, when mom or dad is ready, or it's that time where, okay, they are not okay to be at home alone anymore. And that way, you know, you know your options and you don't feel quite so overwhelmed. It's still going to be overwhelming. I swear. Everybody says, I thought I had more time, you know, and they had like a year of progressive decline, but they always say the same thing. They thought they had more time. They're not ready for this. It's hard. None of us are ready for our parents to not be able to care for themselves. It's really sad, you know, these are our, I mean, for me, the person I looked up to, my dad, you know, my rock, and to see his decline and to come to that realization that he couldn't take care of himself. And I was going to have to be the one that made that decision. Puts a lot of guilt on you as a child, kind of pushing that. But it's the right thing to do.
Well, and I will say too, a lot of people don't even check into these things because they think they're too expensive, they can't afford it, and they don't realize that there's guidance. There's a lot of support and guidance for free, or it's covered by the companies that are out there paying for those costs as opposed to being out of pocket. So I just encourage people, if you have questions, whether it's your own care. I've seen you do a lot of public speaking, and you know, you've been in front of groups of people that are 60 plus and they're starting to question their own mortality, and they're saying, okay, what's my plan? And they're putting things in place so that they don't feel like they would burden their families. And then I've also seen emergency situations where people just needed something right away and you were right there for them and just give them that peace of mind and that hope in a really helpless situation. So I know that you have a gift today, and this is part of our launch week, is being able to offer you guys not only a special price on our book. If you're watching this back recorded, I can't guarantee the pricing, but during the launch price right now, we have our ebook at 99 cents. Our print book is under $10, so it gives you a chance to get these books, give multiple copies of the book, and in there, you're going to get more detailed story of Jenny and how she's able to help so many families all over the US, not just in California, really navigate this ever-changing world of senior care and how to protect your loved ones. So Jenny, tell us a little bit about your free offer and your free gift for the launch week this week.
So my free gift, I think, is so important, and I hope everybody takes advantage of this. It's just a flyer, so it's not even a big deal. It's not that big of a deal, but it is really important, and it's called 5 Things to Do Now. And it really lays out the 5 things that we should be doing right now for an aging loved one. I mean, and for ourselves, truly, for me, I've had this conversation with my kids. I'm almost 50, and that time is going to come. And so to be prepared and for my kids to know, okay, these are the answers to these questions. But it just really outlines what to do now, from legal to like the most random little things that are super important that you find out too late. So it is 5 things to do now, and you can email me, and I will just send it to you. My email address is Jenny, JENNY, at cascc.me.
Perfect. And we'll put that in the chat below as well when you guys are watching this. So, and then Jenny's here as well. If you have questions, you can put them in the chat below. However you're watching this, if it's on YouTube or you're watching it on Facebook as we're broadcasting it live, then she'll be here in the chat as well. She can answer any questions you have about it. You can reach out to her. But thank you so much, Jenny, for just your contribution to not only your community, but to the senior care world, and also for this book. because we all eventually become the unexpected leader in our own lives, where we have to lead ourselves first. And you became this leader for your parents, and you became the leader of your household as the only child when your parents began to get sick. So I love this example, and I think you did a great job, and I think your parents would be very proud of you.
Thank
So
you so much. That means so much.
absolutely. So any other parting words that you want to give to our viewers today, or readers for the book?
I mean, honestly, as parting, just how special and how honored this is. Like for me to be in this position, I never expected this. I didn't know, 10 years ago, if you would have told me I would be here, I would not have believed you. And so I always just find it so interesting, like the paths that our lives take us on. And I'm just grateful that I listened to my heart and followed this path. And I, every morning, I swear, I wake up so excited for my day to help people navigate through this. And I must get like 4, 5, 6 calls a day, families that are, distraught and overwhelmed. And it's really the most fulfilling thing to be able to help them. So I'm glad I'm here. Thank you.
Well, I'm glad you're here too. And I know you're helping a lot of people. So thank you for putting this story into a book, and also for, going out and speaking to people, for working with corporations and companies, helping individuals. Like, you do a lot of different things to really become the expert in this space. And you've been in it quite a while. So thank you for sharing your knowledge and giving hope to so many people in a very helpless situation. So again, Jenny Ferguson, thank you for being here, for contributing a chapter in our Unexpected Leader book. Can't wait for you guys to get a chance to connect with Jenny, ask her the questions you need, and also read the book. So thank you again, everyone. And if you'd like more information about the book, or how to write your own book, create your own story, or be part of one of our books in the future, you can also visit our website at mydefiningmoments.com with more details below. All right. Well, thank you again, everybody, for being here. Thank you, Jenny, and have a great day, everyone. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.